Hey, today I welcome in a couple of Oriole pitchers from the farm, Brenan, Hanifee, and Drew Rahm. Both these guys have had a lot of success in their time pitching in the Oriole minor leagues. And one question that's come up a lot this year from fans, and it's a great question, is how are the players doing without minor league games? Some guys obviously are in the Bowie player pool, and that's great, but that's limited in numbers. So guys have to kind of be on their own. Doing their thing and trying to advance their career without a season. It's got to be incredibly challenging. Brenan, let me start with you. And you're in Virginia. You're near the Bridgewater, Harrisonburg area where you're from, and fourth round pick of the Orioles in 2016. You advanced to Frederick, where you had a solid season last year, and I'm sure you were hoping maybe double A's in the offing, but then March happened and everything stopped. What's it been like for you from that point to now?
Yeah, it's obviously been a lot of things going on, but yeah, since we got sent home from camp, kind of been working out, throwing bullpens, facing some live hitters when I can, because at the facility there's some college guys that were around. They're obviously gone now, but we were doing live VPs every Friday, so just trying to get the work in that I needed to, and sustain that volume that I needed on my arm.
How different is it to not have a season and to try to build up your arm and do things that a season would naturally be allowing you to do?
Yeah, it's definitely harder. The live VPs are obviously, it's very hard to simulate a live game without actually being in a real game. So,
you're not at the airport, are you?
What's that?
I said you're not at the airport, are you?
The tractor driving by, but yeah, you can't really simulate a live game with a real game without a actual hitter in the box and fans in the stands and everything else. You don't get the same adrenaline from a live VP as you do from a sold out stadium.
So Drew Rahm, you're in Kentucky in the Lexington area, and you were fourth round draft pick of the Birds in 2018. Really good year in 2019 at Delmarva. And I think those fans who look at those rating systems can see that both of you guys are top 30 prospects by the top analysts. So certainly your talents have been noticed. And Drew, it sounds like it's been a little different situation for you. You're playing in a league, you told us before we started recording. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, this league, I kind of got into it because Reed Hayes, I actually asked him about it, and he was up in Florence. So then I talked to Chris Holt about it, and that's kind of how I got into it. But before that, I was just doing what Hanifee was and just throwing lives whenever I could. But now actually playing competitive games and having fans and being on the lights and everything, it's kind of taking me back to the season to where I'm getting those season innings in with the adrenaline flowing and everything. But in this league, I've just been playing with a bunch of top tier guys who may be retired or maybe trying to get back in it, like Brandon Phillips and Eric Young Jr. And kind of having their expertise in this league has just been eye-opening because I've learned things about myself that I didn't even know. And I guess these hitters are just so good at picking apart pitchers that they figure out every little thing I do.
Wow, you're facing guys who played in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. And what kind of feedback are they giving you?
Just basically how to pitch them is the weird. I mean, I know it's weird to say giving that I'm facing them, but they're really telling me how to pitch them, how they would pitch themselves given what I have, but also just how to think like a hitter, almost like a high level hitter, like those guys, they're giving me all these tips and little tricks to try to see if I can deceive a hitter or if there's something that they're not picking up that I
That
am.
is a great experience you're getting. And for both of you guys, how are the Orioles keeping tabs on you? I mean, who are you in contact with without getting too deep into it? How are they, how are you communicating with the club? They're giving you feedback and you're giving them feedback on what's happening. And Brenan, let's start with you.
Right. Usually Justin Ramsey, pitching coach in Bowie, obviously he's been calling, FaceTime and Zoom calling, whatever it might be, checking in once a week, seeing how things are going. And, I'll send him some videos on Friday after my live or after my bullpens on Tuesdays usually, and he'll say whether it was good or bad, and give me some feedback and how things are looking.
For a pitcher like you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've always been a guy who can really sink the ball, get some great ground ball rates, quick contact, that sort of thing. Is not having all the innings, you need all those innings for the feel you have to have on that sinker?
Right. I think for me, I tend to get better as the season goes along. So, I almost feel better as the season gets deeper into, as we get deeper into the season, my arm almost gets a little more tired. I think that's kind of when I pitch my best because, you're not as amped up, and you just, I try to just pitch at the bottom of the zone and keep the ball down and get ground balls. So, yeah, definitely.
And Drew, how's it been with you, communication back and forth with the club?
Yeah, I've been pretty much in the same situation with Hanifee, but I've been going through Josh Conway. And, it's basically the same thing. Text, calls, FaceTime, Zooms, basically whatever they can, just whenever they have a question or maybe after a bullpen or something.
Is there any way to know where you guys are at innings-wise? If it was a minor league season, the club and you would have some number in mind probably that they wanted you to get in the vicinity of by the end of the year. Is there any way to know what that means for you this year, Brenan?
Yeah, that's been tough to kind of track the innings because, we're obviously throwing more than we probably would in between a real start. Those live VPs were, for the most part, between 30 and 45 pitches for the majority of the time we've been home. It's amped up here recently, but, it has been hard to track, and you can't really put an exact number on the innings you've thrown. But, we came up with a number that we were shooting for the year, and I think we're pretty close to that right now. So.
Awesome. How about for you, Drew?
Yeah, playing this league has helped me reach that inning limit and kind of get close to like a full season type inning limit combined with the lives. But I've seen that between the competitive the competitive innings I'm in now, they take a much bigger toll on your body and your arm than like the regular live BP. So I think that's a little bit of like the volume control that everyone's kind of missing.
Right.
So do you guys feel like you're getting, you're doing the best with what you can do? You're setting yourself up for next year in the best possible way?
Absolutely.
You agree with that, Brenan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely doing as much as I possibly can to be ready and get what I need while I'm home.
I'm sure you guys have talked to some of your teammates on the farm. What are you hearing from other guys? Are you sharing information? Hey, what are you doing where you are? Can it help me where I am? Brenan?
Honestly, not really. I talk to guys, but, most of the time I talk to guys, it's not really about baseball. I feel like what I'm doing is, the most and the best thing for me. So, I can't really control what other guys are doing or what they have access to. I'm just, trying to make the most of what I have and get ready for next year.
Drew, have you had some time to talk to some teammates?
Yeah, well, just like Brian said, like most of the time we don't really talk about baseball. It's all types of other stuff because at that point they're either just about to go to the field or they just got done. They're kind of done for the day with all that. But, it's really just doing what you can with what you have.
So is there some uncertainty among the players because, we just don't know what the virus is going to do, what the future is going to hold? There's a lot of uncertainty out there. Is that something you guys think about a lot, or do you say there's enough to worry about, so I don't need to spend too much time worrying about this?
Yeah, no, I don't worry about it too much. I think this is all going to get resolved at some point, and I think pretty certain there'll be a season next year. So, just get what I need for right now, and then hopefully move forward next year.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, we're just hoping there is some sort of solution by then, just even if it's still just mass mandate anything. But, I think everyone's just getting ready. Like, we're expecting spring training 2021 to happen.
So both you guys pitched obviously on the farm and did well last year under the first year with Mike Elias and Chris Holt and what they implemented. And obviously the results in 2019 in pitching were really good. I mean, there were a lot of great ERAs, there were great strikeout rates. There was just successes up and down the system from the highest levels to the lower ones. What was the first year like with this new regime, Brenan?
It was a lot different. I think I was a little overwhelmed with it at the beginning, trying to take everything anybody was saying to me, and I kind of got into it a little deep, but kind of figured that out as I went, took some things here and there, took some prior knowledge to some new knowledge, and kind of put it together, and I feel like I finished up the season pretty well. So, just finding that balance between all the new guys and a couple, some of the prior knowledge. I think I came up with a pretty good plan to finish the season.
There's a lot going on there when there's a lot of coaches, there's new coaches, there's new methods, and yet you're out there on the mound just trying to get the guy out in front of you. I'm
Exactly.
sure it can be a lot to absorb.
Right. Trying to make changes on the fly and make changes in a game situation is it's kind of tough. And, I feel like I tried to do a little too much of that at the beginning of the season. And I feel like I kind of, took a step back and, focused on a couple things that I wanted to work on rather than, 10 or 12.
Interesting. How did it work out for you, Drew?
I mean, honestly, I really liked it because I was always big into all the data. So obviously that's what our new regime is into, is the big data, and kind of with the old school and with the new school type approach. And I think for me, I've been able to see the data, and they've been able to show me what works and what doesn't. I think that's a big thing, is having that visual and then being able to explain why something works. But then all the coaches that have come in have taken this new, change just in full force.
Let's finish up with this for both you guys. When you look at the Orioles this year at the major league level, you see players from the farm coming up and doing some wonderful things. Mountcastle and DJ Stewart and Mullins and Hayes and Aiken and Kramer and Harvey. I mean, there are others. What does that mean to you guys who are still on the farm and want to get there? Is it cool to see those successes and say, look what the organization's doing with homegrown players? Brenan?
Yeah, it's awesome to see, man, because first couple of years I was with a lot of those, and I was drafted obviously the same year as Keegan Aiken. We're pretty good friends at this point, and we talk pretty frequently. So to see him go up there and have success is pretty awesome to see. And obviously the other guys as well. Might not be as close with them, but just to see that it is a reality that you can get there, and to see the success with the homegrown guys is awesome to see.
What do you think, Drew?
I would say it's just exciting to see that they're taking guys from our system, not just buying them, and actually developing players and using them. Plus, it's also cool to see guys you played with in spring training up there and thrown on TV. So, I mean, it's nothing but excitement for them. Plus, maybe a possible look in the future for both of us. It's just something to look forward to and I just have a goal for.
Well, we look forward to the day when it's you guys there that we're watching on TV, and know you're getting closer each day. And it sounds like you're certainly making the best of a tough year, and you're helping to advance your careers even without minor league games. So that's pretty cool. So Brenan, Hanifee, thank you. Drew, Rahm, thank you. Keep it going, guys. And we look forward to watching you in an actual game in 2021. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.